Lions Rock Productions.
This is Popping the Bubble with hosts Sandra Ponce de Leon and Pete A. Turner.
Hey everyone, it's Nate, and I'm promoting FreeeUp.com, the hands-on marketplace for hiring pre-vetted, talented remote workers from all around the world. And you're here on Popping the Bubble.
Yeah, I'm doing this show remote. Sandra's actually over at the AI conference in LA, and I had the chance to grab Nathan here, so I thought, let's do this. So Nathan, do you go by Nathan or Nate?
It's funny. So I used to be Nate, and then with my current girlfriend, she started calling me Nathan, and then it really carried on. So now everyone calls me Nathan.
All right, so Nathan it is. Yeah, and then you're though you're a fairly young guy, you've started a bunch of companies and been successful along the way. Every time you talk to me, there's some new thing that you've actually accomplished. Give us a real quick, like a 30-second bio on your background and starting up companies and your entrepreneurial nature.
Yeah, so I'm 28 now. When I was 20 in college, I started a large Amazon business that I grew a large part because I was hiring talented remote people. And as I was doing that, I talked to other business owners, and they had the same issues with the other marketplaces. They took too long. It was a free-for-all. People would quit on them, and they'd have to start over. So that's when I got the idea to start my second business, FreeeUp.com, a marketplace where we vet people up front and we protect clients on the back end with great customer service and covering replacement costs if they ever quit. So I've kind of had an interesting ride from a broke college kid to owning two companies in the past 8 years.
Yeah, no kidding. So let me do a little bit of housekeeping here for you. It's FreeeUp.com, but there's 3 E's in FreeeUp. It's akin to the other places where you go and you hire expertise, sites that we would all know as Fiverr, Freelance.com, any one of those things in that realm. You're sort of in that space, and you said a couple of key things that I want to get back to. But the other thing I wanted to mention is if you're interested in interacting with Nathan, as his girlfriend and I now call him, it's at Real Nate Hirsch on Twitter, and that's where I've grabbed him and followed him. We've talked also on LinkedIn too. He's over there, so make sure you check him out. You said a key thing in terms of the value you provide as the broker in these situations, because a lot of these gig economy companies have a problem. And let me see if I can define this without putting you in the same box, because I think you're working on solving this problem. One of the things with gig economy, now I was the #1 TaskRabbit in all of the Bay Area for quite a while, right? But TaskRabbit could not be bothered with me or my business. And so at one point, my partner and I realized that there was a huge multi-million-dollar market, tens of millions really, in servicing the IKEA crowd. Just in that crowd across the nation, they could have made a lot of money. So we came in and said, okay, yes, normally we wear T-shirts and tool belts, but now we're going to come in and say, we ought to capture this IKEA market. We could not walk in the door or even get a meeting with anybody. The arrogance was so thick in that room. Who buys out TaskRabbit 18, 24 months later? IKEA. So part of the gig economy market is that the people that on the freelance side that are creating things, they need value from their business partner. And I think a lot of times these companies like Uber doesn't care if anybody makes any money or struggles from the model that they do, as long as they drive their damn car, and it's sort of their culture is sort of blown up in their face. You seem to have licked that piece a little bit, but also from the consumer side, this triangle has to have equal parts of contribution, right? So the client, who is ultimately me as the freelancer, my client, I have to take care of them. But how do you take care of me and also ensure that the client gets what they need? This is cool. Talk about how you solve that problem.
Yeah, it's interesting because from the past 2 years of running FreeeUp, and even before then, I've used every marketplace out there. I've seen the client side. I've talked to thousands of clients from all around the world. I know what they like. I know what they don't like. And very similar on the freelance side. I was hiring tons and tons of remote workers. I was always talking to them about these different marketplaces, these different places that they were finding work and what they hated and what they liked. And as I've continued to grow FreeeUp, it's just made me even more involved in having more and more conversations, just figuring out what parts can we eliminate, what are the other places doing poorly, and how can we make adjustments to make ours better. And a good example of that is on the freelance side. These people want to freelance. If they're a graphic designer, they want to do art all day, or graphic design. If they're a bookkeeper, they want to do books. So they don't want to spend a lot of time searching for jobs. And that's what they don't like about the other marketplaces. It takes forever. They're competing against a lot of people. It might take them hours just to apply, and then it might take them another 2 to 3 weeks to interview. So we really made a fast hire marketplace where only the best get in. And to solve that issue, clients get 10 to 15 minutes to meet with the worker. It's first come, first serve. It's fast paced, and the freelancers get to enjoy what they're doing. So that's just one of many examples that we take this feedback very seriously. When we started FreeeUp, we created this baseline of what we want it to be, and then we took feedback from clients and workers and really improved as we grew to make it even a better experience. And we know that we're only as good as the clients and as good as the freelancers are in the marketplace. And if either side isn't happy, that's when you said, like, it starts to collapse. So we're very focused on happiness. And I always tell you, the clients and the workers, that if the client's happy at the end of the day and the worker's happy at the end of the day, we're happy.
Hey, give me an idea. I think you said it, but maybe this was in our previous conversation off mic. What's your guys' cut of the transaction? How does that work out?
Yeah, so we take 15% with a $2 minimum.
Yeah, and that at the rate you're talking about with the support you give, there's some actual value there. It's a place. Well, I'll use TaskRabbit again. When they're taking 20 points, and my client who I'm managing, I'm doing all the face-to-face work, and if they're like, "Hey, why don't I just pay you direct?" and I'll say, "I'll just pay you the whole amount. You're the one doing the work." That's when you, as a business owner, right, you would have a problem, because what am I going to tell my client? They want to pay me more money. There's no incentive for me to keep that business in-house. All of a sudden, this intermediation rears its ugly head. But like you said, you're supporting more than just a singular transaction. You're providing some security, and I think that starts to help improve the model. Let me push back a little bit, though. If I'm a freelancer, and I know I'm paying 15 points, and I'm starting to find repeat business, what is my ultimate incentive? I mean, if I become comfortable with my client and vice versa, why do we need you? How do you sweeten the pot even still? Because we are talking a lot of money over time.
Yeah, so there's two sides of it. And in order for someone to go around our agreements, and we obviously have agreements in place not to do that, both sides would have to agree to do this and to breach the contract. And so what we found is that on the client side, the clients love having access to our service. And in addition to finding freelancers quickly, we also protect them against turnover or if anything goes wrong. So if a worker quits for any reason, we cover all replacement costs. And on the worker side, the workers like it because if the clients bail and they don't pay their bill, then the workers still get paid, and they know that we have these systems, these policies in place. I shouldn't call them policies. They're more like best practices and ways that the marketplace works to ensure that the freelancer has a good experience. So there's a lot of risk in trying to go around the marketplace. If we find out the client loses access to their account, the freelancer loses access to their account, on the freelancer side, they might have 3 or 4 clients on FreeeUp, and if they were to go around and we were to find out, they lose their entire source of income. So does it happen? I'm sure it does. Sure. We don't know every single situation, but it's very small, and it's incredible. We've had, in the 2+ years we've done this, we've probably had a handful of clients that tried to pay workers outside FreeeUp, and the workers report it immediately, right away, because it's in their agreement to do it. They love the FreeeUp marketplace. They love the community. They love me and my team, and they don't want to do anything to hurt it or jeopardize their relationship with us. So that's what we found, and it's been very personally rewarding that people kind of trust us that much and really want to be a part of it. And I'll say one more thing. We do have a client buyout. It's optional in the agreement, and there is risk in both sides. I mean, if the client buys out the worker and the worker quits, we're no longer responsible. If the client doesn't pay the worker after the buyout, we're no longer responsible. Right. But we've had plenty of situations where the client will want to buy the worker out. We can't force the worker to do it, and the worker's like, no, I'd rather do it inside FreeeUp, even if they were going to get paid more outside FreeeUp. So that's been pretty cool.
I want to make sure I say this in fairness to you. I'm challenging you on my end because as someone that's done the gig economy thing, I understand what that's like, and I know that users on both ends, the freelance and the client, they care about these things, and they want to know that Pete the freelancer is cared for. Like you've built something that is valuable, so I don't want to harm my business or threaten my flow of new business by disintermediating, you got FreeeUp out of it. So I dig that you've made it a not only like a punitive thing, but also this is so good, why would you want to mess with it? And that's just fantastic. What kind of freelancers are on there doing things that are innovative and interesting that you guys find?
In terms of skill set?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, so when we first started this, I have a background in e-commerce, so it was fairly easy to be like, hey, I have these good Amazon workers that I used on my account. You should give them a shot. So that's kind of where the third E came in. It was free e-commerce up, and we were really focused on e-commerce, and we still are. We still have tons of e-commerce clients, but all of a sudden those e-commerce clients started to be like, hey, we need bookkeepers, we need graphic designers. They used our referral program to refer their friends in different industries, and that's when we started to expand. So now we have all sorts of workers, whether it's Facebook ads or eBay or graphic design or customer service or Excel work, you name it. And we have all these different industries, from real estate agents to business coaches to brick and mortar stores and doctors and lawyers using the FreeeUp service, even though the main foundation was e-commerce. So it's kind of been cool to see us grow from just having Amazon workers to also being able to offer top developers.
No, that's cool. That's a neat, and this is one of the ways. It's one of the ways forward. Like you don't have to work for a design house. You can sit on your beanbag in your own house and take in clients and actually do less work, less stressfully. Of course, now, once I say that, the second I say that, every freelancer in the world's going, I say yes to everything and I'm swamped and crazy all the time. But that's on you. You can say, I just can't take on new business right now. And I imagine not necessarily turn your account off, but be less marketable. Hey, yeah, let me ask you this. Do you have the ability to feature a particular freelancer on your site to say, hey, this is a guy that's available and here's his resume? Or how do you guys do that?
Yeah, so we don't have profiles on our site. It's not like the other marketplaces where you can browse and pick the freelancers, and we do that on purpose. I mean, most of the clients come to us because they didn't like that. It's incredibly overwhelming, and they just want to tell us what they want and get delivered that within 24 hours. With things like graphic design and writing, we do have portfolios to go through because it is personal preference. It's not always easy to put in words what you're looking for. Sometimes you have to see it. But for the most part, we don't have that. With that said, we want to give clients and even outside freelancers a glimpse into the marketplace. So if you check out the freeup.com YouTube channel, you'll actually see me personally interviewing freelancers that have been on the marketplace for a while, or even new ones, learning about how they got into freelance, what they have to offer, maybe some tips from an SEO expert on someone who doesn't know anything about SEO. We will have different promotions and deals that we'll put on social media or in our newsletter. Maybe a PPC expert is offering a free month if you sign up for 4, or maybe it's 5% off their rate if they sign up this week. So we'll help people promote their freelance business if they want to, and really give outside people a glimpse inside the FreeeUp marketplace.
No, I dig it. That's a fantastic way to approach this whole thing. And again, I do love the gig economy set, but I like much more what you're doing here. You're allowing people to build businesses. Let's say, for example, and I'm going to throw, nothing impossible, but a bit of a curveball at you. Let's say I'm done. I don't want to be a cultural consultant anymore, and I just want to sell my business. Can I sell my business back to you guys, like my book, my steady flow, or can I transfer it to my partner who's says they're going to keep on working? How does it go once you've established a book of clients?
Yeah, so I mean, if you're a freelancer, we essentially have one rule: you can't drop clients. If you do, if you drop a client in the middle of a project, it's a breach of our terms of use. You get kicked out of the marketplace, all that. We actually haven't had a situation where, let's say, it's a mini agency and one person left and they passed it over to someone else.
Yeah.
That would be an interesting thing, and it's kind of one of those case by case things. And I mean, we would make sure that the client was happy with it and okay with it, or multiple clients that they have. Make sure the transition would be smooth. Make sure that anyone on the back end actually gets through our vetting process, because remember, we're vetting that one initial freelancer. Even if they own an agency, they're responsible for it. So that is a unique situation. I'm sure it'll happen eventually.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we do have small agencies that might have 2 or 3 business owners. We have plenty of husband and wives that run a marketing agency, so to speak, and they kind of share clients, and one might specialize in one thing or another. And honestly, 99.9% of the time it works out great. And if there's any ever issues or something comes up, we just resolve it to make sure both sides are happy.
Yeah, that's cool. Tell me about the technology that you guys have used to figure all these things out. What did you have to put into the machine to make this work so well? Hey everybody, Pete A. Turner, co-host of Popping the Bubble. This episode is sponsored by us over here at Lions Rock Productions. What do we do? Content management strategy. We'll help you create podcasts, develop strategies, consult on what you've got. If you want to take a look at content, we would love to have an opportunity to do that for you. Now let's get back to Popping the Bubble.
So what's cool is when I first started FreeeUp, and it was just an idea, we had no clients, I took one of our developers that used to work for my Amazon business. He actually got a full-time job at Universal that we couldn't compete with. And so we hired him part-time to work on this time clock software. And it started off as a basic time clock. People punch in, they punch out, it records time, it shows it on the client side, and everything else was manual, from introducing workers to the billing every Thursday. And as we've gone through, we've continued to add developers and build up this software to now we're in year 3. The software has gotten to the point where it's very advanced. We have about 100 pages of new stuff that we want to add. But the software is pretty awesome. You can do all the billing. You can see all your affiliates, all your referrals, all your workers. You can see notes when they work. On the client or on the freelancer side, they can clock in and decide what client they're clocking in for and view all their different rates and stuff like that. So it's come a long way, and I'm really excited for 2018 is going to be the year of the software where we really take it to the next level and compete with some of these bigger companies that have a much bigger dev budget than we do.
Yeah, no, that's great. I love hearing all of these aspects of what sounds like a well thought out business. I mean, this is great. How long have you guys been around for now?
We're in year 3, so I think it's like 2 years and a few months.
Okay. And everything's tracking according to plan and all that?
Yeah, so in year 1, we did 1 million. In year 2, we did 5. And this year, we're hoping to break 10. We're billing about 10,000 hours a week. And yeah, I mean, we're excited with the trajectory.
What's the end game for you guys? I mean, at some point, do you just say, okay, I've built this and you sell it, or does it continue to get managed by somebody? I mean, you're an entrepreneur, so at some point, you're going to get the itch.
Yeah, it's a good question that I don't have an answer for. I mean, I'm much more of a short-term guy. I'm always thinking, oh, what can I do this week, this month, today to get to the next level? We've been contacted by a bunch of different venture capitalist firms, not to buy it straight up, but to invest in it because they see the potential. They see that there's no overhead costs. The company's entirely remote. We have a great community and a good client base that already loves it and is telling other people. And so I think they see the value in it, and it would be cool to partner with someone that can take this from 5 million to 100 million, because I have no experience doing that. I'm pretty confident I can get to 10, but after that, we're in new territory. And so it's one of those things that I'm going to have to decide at some point, do I welcome the challenge and try to do it myself, or do I add someone else in who has that experience?
I'm glad you brought that up. This is an interesting conversation I like to have with people. We do seem to have a very young entrepreneurial mindset where people come up and they're doing these incredible things, and this is no offense to anybody in their 20s, but at some point, some seasoning, some experience has to come in to take you from 10 to $50 million. How does someone in your position who's running a company and busy, what do you do? I mean, let's say that you're not in a mind to sell or partner. You're like, I want to learn how to go from here to $100 million. Do you find specific partners? How do you take yourself to scale?
Yeah, I mean, what's awesome about working with my business partner Connor is he's much more of that long-term person. He's always thinking, "Hey, these are our goals for 2018," and I'm much more of the daily person of, "Okay, these are the goals we want to set. How do we actually? What do we do today to get to that goal?" And I think that that's kind of why we work so well together. Is he's constantly looking months, years down the line, and I'm constantly looking, okay, like these are the systems we have to build right now. These are the people we have to add to the internal team and put in place. These are our current issues that we need to problem solve and fix. So I think a combination of that is how you get scalable. And I think it's one of the things that my first 2 years of running my Amazon business, I struggled with. And then when I added Connor, I was like, wow, we work really well together. This is how we can kind of get in cruise control going forward. And then we took everything we learned from the first business and moved it to the second one. So that's the best answer I can give. We're in uncharted territory here.
Yeah.
I mean, we're growing a marketplace. We're over the 5 million mark, and now is really when the fun begins.
If I decide as a client and a freelancer, if I decide to work within the marketplace, or let's say, okay, so I'm doing some content marketing, a strategy thing for a client, and I'm like, oh, you know what? I want to work internally. Can I refer business to somebody else inside FreeeUp?
Yeah, so if you're a freelancer in the marketplace, you're welcome to refer other people in the marketplace. You can't refer people outside of the marketplace. That's against our terms of use. But one of the cool things is we have a great referral program. So both on the client side and on the freelancer side, if you're a client or if you refer a client, you get 50 cents for every hour that we build with that client forever. And that adds up quick. And on the freelancer side, it's either 25 cents or 50 cents, depending on their expertise, for every hour they bill forever. So we paid out last year over $150,000 in referral money.
That's great.
Sometimes what will happen is, hey, let's say they're working with an Amazon expert and they want to bring in a graphic designer. Yes, they can refer someone into the marketplace, but they might also refer that friend outside of the marketplace to get in. That friend gets past our vetting process, and then they can refer their clients over to them. So it's kind of cool how we've built all these relationships. And if we go back, it's kind of like a spider web of this person referred this person and this person. And it all kind of connects to those original 25, 50 freelancers that started FreeeUp, or that we started FreeeUp with.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. So you start to get these referrals going and you get a little residual. That also further sweetens the pot and makes me want to stay involved. Now, so I've got all this residual income. Let's say that I make that almost my business, where I just get people to come in. Do I have to be actively billing a certain amount of hours to collect my residual, or is that something that just can kind of become a separate stream of income?
Yeah, no, you don't have to be doing anything. I mean, we try to give people as much freedom as possible to run their business that we can while still keeping the marketplace safe. So,
Sure.
I mean, we have people that have maybe they were a client and they needed one website built, and they built it within a week, and after that they just referred people and they just make money on referral money. Same thing with freelancers. I mean, we have freelancers that we remove from the network that still make referral money because they referred two other people that for whatever reason we're much better fit. So we don't place limits. We don't take that away. You don't have to be a client or a freelancer in the marketplace or active to get that residual money.
Interesting. Yeah, that's a neat flavor. Is there any kind of crypto element in your future for your company? Because crypto is such a powerful thing now, and the thing I'm learning as we've gone through this on the show is that anything that has value has an element that can be applied to crypto. So, have you guys thinking in that headspace at all yet, or what are your thoughts?
I have no current plans to add that to the business. I'm much more focused on other things that I feel like are more important at this stage. We're still a young company. We're still in year 3. I feel like we need to stay on course to get where we want to be before exploring other options that I consider not only risky, but you also have to just factor in I only have X amount of hours in every week. I have to pick and choose where I focus my attention.
Right. Yeah, no doubt about it. Bandwidth is a thing that boy, if you're really working, you're bumping up against your bandwidth all the time. Yeah, yeah, for sure. So again, I'm going to clue everybody back in here. You are Nathan Hirsch. You can be found Real Nate Hirsch on Twitter. And of course, the site is FreeeUp, FreeeUp.com, and that's where you can go if you're a freelancer. That's where you can go if you're someone who wants to hire a freelancer. And pretty much any kind of industry, they're going to have someone there for you. It's a super slick thing to do. What else do you want to cover while we're sitting here talking, Nate? What else is going on?
So one of the cool things that we included was the FreeeUp blog. And the FreeeUp blog is all about hiring tips. And one thing that I'm really passionate about is teaching other people how to hire, and not just how to hire, but how to hire well, how to reduce turnover, how to motivate people, how to set expectations early and really look at hiring as an investment, which very few business owners do, and how to protect that investment. So I speak at a lot of conferences, I do webinars and podcasts to really teach other people the power of hiring, because if you think about it, it's that thing that every business owner needs. Even a lot of non-business owners still need to know how to hire. Maybe they move into management, or they're trying to build their team inside someone else's company. They don't teach it in school, and it really is the key to success and failure in your business. You have plenty of maybe mediocre business owners that, because they put good people in place, can have a lot of success, make a lot of money, grow their business. And then you see a lot of really talented business owners, people with great ideas, but for whatever reason, they make that wrong hire, or maybe they even get unlucky with that hire, and it kills their business. It stalls them. It can put them out of business. Hiring is the key to everything. There's very few companies that grow big just being a solo operation. You need to surround yourself with good people, whether it's internal employees or remote contractors and freelancers, and all outsourcing from around the world, which is obviously what I prefer. But you have to be good at it. And I encourage you to check out the FreeeUp blog, or we also have some great videos on remote workers if you've never hired one before, you've never outsourced before, because there is a learning curve. It took me years and years to really master it, and I'm very passionate about teaching other people the power of it.
Yeah, no, that's great. That advice. I'm also looking on. I clicked on the pricing blog, or I should say, I clicked on the pricing tab on the FreeeUp website, FreeeUp.com, with 3 E's in FreeeUp. And it kind of gives you a breakdown on what you should expect pricing-wise. You guys should cap out at $50 an hour. What if someone wants to have a higher level, more seasoned pro? I mean, it's not. It's not. I tell you right now, as a guy that charges more than $50 an hour, it's not hard to find someone that has a higher level program that costs that. Do you guys have a high-end feature that's coming for someone like me that charges a little more than that?
Definitely. We have freelancers on the marketplace right now that charge over 50. The 5 to 50 is a ballpark. It's done by a lot of research that we put into market rates for the different skill sets we offer. We don't set the prices, the freelancers do. It's like anything else in business. The higher your rate, the less clients there are in the world or in your market that can afford that rate. So freelancers have to decide for themselves what's best for their business. The one thing that we ask of them is that they don't bait and switch clients. They don't have an intro rate and then 2 weeks later they're like, oh, my rate's really double this. But you can see from the infographic, it's ballpark pricing for different levels, and the freelancers will set their own rate, and the clients can always make a lower offer or whatever it is, or get someone else. The other cool thing that we try to do is get people in the mindset of thinking of 3 different people, and it's not 3 different levels. It's not that one level is better than the other, but it fills different needs. So we've got the basic level, the mid-level, and the expert level. With the basic level or lower level workers, these are non-US. They're $5 to $10 an hour. They have experience because we're not a marketplace for newbies, but they're doers, they're followers. They're for clients that have their systems and processes in place. You can't be like, hey, I don't know anything about Facebook ads. Let's hire someone for $7 an hour to run my Facebook ads. It doesn't work that way. So if you don't have your system and process in place, you can't hire that basic level worker.
Right.
Then you've got the mid-level. The mid is that 10 to 30, depending on US, non-US, and skill set. They're doers. They're not there for you to teach them. They're not there to consult with you. They're specialists. They do the same thing every day. Maybe it's optimizing Amazon listings or graphic design or bookkeeping. So you're hiring them to do things the way that they do it to help accomplish projects. And then you've got the experts, the 25 and up. these people are the consultants. They've been around the block. They have 5, 10, 15 years experience. They can audit your business or parts of your business and create a game plan with you. They can create systems and processes for the low level workers, or even project manage them if necessary. So by thinking of it in terms of levels, it just makes the whole hiring process easier, because you can look at, hey, this is what I need to get done. Which level does it fit in? Where am I at in my business? And really make the correct hiring decision.
Right. No, that's good. That tiered approach helps out. And I think that's a very powerful thing. One of the things, too, I know from trying to hire people on a site like Fiverr is the communication is really challenging. Editing podcasts is not complex necessarily for someone that knows how to do it, but my instructions, so they give me what I need, that is very detailed, and it oftentimes takes me a long time to write out, and then when they don't get it because of a language barrier, or it's just it's like technical writing. How do you overcome that barrier, that communication thing? Because I don't want to spend as much time unscrewing up something that I could have got right if I had the ability to talk to that person.
You're so right. Communication is everything. It's the foundation of the marketplace, because if you think back to a lot of the bad hires that you've had, most of the time it comes down to bad communication. And to be honest, it can go on both sides, on the client side or on the worker side. So with us, we know that no matter how talented the worker is or what their attitude is, if they can't communicate with the client, it's not going to work out. It's going to lead to issues. It's going to lead to me and my team getting involved more than we want to be. So from the beginning, we vet people. We get hundreds of applicants every week. We vet them for skill, attitude, communication, and take the top 1% and let them in. And with communication, we spend a lot of time on this, from making sure that they speak English on a high level. That's the basics. But we also have 15 pages of communication best practices for the FreeeUp marketplace that workers, before they get in, have to memorize and get tested on, because we know how important that is. We want someone that can give an estimate, that can hit a deadline, that if their house is on fire or they have a personal emergency, the client or my team gets some kind of text message or is notified in some way, because the last thing we want is for clients to try to chase someone across the U.S. or across the Philippines. That can't happen. So poor communication is the fastest way to get kicked out of the FreeeUp marketplace. It's something we take very seriously. It's part of our terms of use that freelancers have to respond within 1 business day at the latest, and most respond much faster unless they've said something otherwise in advance. And we know that that's the key and the foundation to both clients and freelancers having a good experience.
Yeah, I'm tolerant and I'm flexible, and I will move my deadline if I have to, because sometimes houses are on fire, sometimes babies do get sick, but don't be a no-call, no-show. Don't do that, because I don't have time for that, because now I've got to go into crisis mode, and if you're going to burn up my crisis mode time with something that's not a crisis, like, I'm going to be really mad at you. I can definitely appreciate that. One more time with all the details. You are Real Nate Hirsch on Twitter. Your company is called FreeeUp, FreeeUp, FreeeUp. You guys do freelance. Basically, you're a broker for freelance workers. And gosh, I dig how you did it. And I also dig that you reached out and had something to say. I'll say this in general, just for you to get some feedback. I get approached by a lot of people. One of the things that's not a problem for me at this point where I'm at in podcast is guests. And so I get reached out to a lot, and I always try to respond. But most of the time, the person shows up and they don't have it ready, whatever it is. And so you did. You were ready to show up. You were ready to have answers. You had compelling stuff, and I have to respect that level of game, and I have to respect the hustle, because you're out there working hard for a guy like me who, freelances. So I dig you out there doing this, and I can't encourage people enough to go out and set up a profile on FreeeUp, because I'll be doing it on both ends, because I'm definitely going to want to, offload some work. The things that you're talking about, like I can have a guy in the Philippines do my Facebook ads, I can do that. So let's let those folks do that work so they can make a little bit of money. Let's appreciate that Nate is out there trying to roused up clients and freelancers, and that is fantastic. And man, I really appreciate what you're doing, and I like how you're doing it too, because it's easy to get it wrong.
I appreciate the kind words. I mean, whenever you start a company, you know this, you never know what the feedback's going to be like. And yeah. I'm very fortunate and humbled that the feedback's been so positive from the client side to the freelancer side to the partners and influencers and podcasts that we've been on. And I appreciate what you do. And thanks a lot for having me on.
Yeah, no problem. Let's check back in, and if anytime you're in California, let's grab some food too. So, Nate, let me ask you one more thing before you go. Is there anything that we can do for the listeners that want to sign up, if they want to sign up to support the show? Is there something that you can throw at us as the big boss?
Definitely. I mean, we have a great referral program. So any clients that you refer, you get 50 cents for every hour that we bill to them forever. We mentioned that. So your affiliate will be there. Affiliate link will be there. But in addition, we're going to say that anyone that signs up through your affiliate link or mentions the show when they sign up gets $1 off their first worker forever. So just some extra motivation to sign up and mention this show.
What did you say? $1 off on their first worker forever? So like if I hire an editor and he's $7 an hour, my entire relationship with that guy, I'll always pay less, $1 less? Is that what you're saying?
That is correct.
Woo, boy. All right. That's fantastic. All right. That is great. Thank you for doing that for the listeners. That's fantastic. And I definitely, all right, I found some time to get signed up. I'm going to go do it right now.
Appreciate it.